guys, I was about to start, but I'm just realizing I don't know where my phone is and shit. So I'm gonna go look for that real quick because I'm out of it. I'm going to be right back. Okay, sorry about that. My bad. So anyway, I was in the other room, and I was like, wait, I forgot to bring that in here before I start. Which is distracting theoretically, so maybe I shouldn't. But also, it's like fuck it. It just, it is what it is at this point. So it makes me feel better to at least like know what's going on. I don't know. So today we have two topics. We're gonna be talking about Tajuana, and we're gonna be talking about Brittany Jones again. With Tajuana, I've got new stuff for you. With Brittany, we're recapping the old stuff. So, for Tajuana, we know that she's been arrested. We know she's currently in jail. Well, actually, if you didn't know she's still in jail, yes, to my knowledge, she's still in jail. So we're going to be discussing why I believe she's still in jail, the records we have of that, how long I think she's at least going to be jailed up until, meaning when is her court date, what is documented. We're going to discuss two different articles that are locked behind a paywall about it and what I could get from around that paywall without paying that paywall. So I don't have all the information of the material, but I'll show you what I got. And there's two different statements shown to me from it that we'll also review as well. And I don't know if that's the summarizing thing that I use to get around the paywall, like if that's just an error on that part, or if that's what was actually written behind the paywall on each page. I can't tell you because but we'll look at that, and we're gonna just kind of marinate on that and think about previous coverage as well with Tajuana's situation. And like there's no way I could have known this, but I was right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like so entertained by that. Because I saw it from a mile away, and I didn't have access though to technically confirm, and I couldn't talk to anyone about it. But yeah. So and then after that, what we're gonna do is, with Brittany Jones, so much has happened, and I've covered so much, hours and hours and hours of material, that nobody's gonna watch all of that. Nobody gives a fuck, right? And so in my last live stream, what I did do was attempt to kind of like show you guys as much of a recap, condensed summary of what we've covered before as possible. And what we'll be doing now is kind of going through and replaying some of the clips that kind of really stand out to me as two things that alarm me, and why I looked into everything further as I found out more. And just as I've learned, what has really, really stood out to me, on top of other things that just are red flags, but what are some of the key points that I think people might want to know about who don't have time to watch all of it, and everything like that. What is like the most potential need to know in terms of what I would be concerned about. I'm going to replay things that I've already covered, but I'll try not to make it like the last times I did replays on Brittany Jones. It was like a replay situation. I'm gonna try not to do it like that. Like it's so I've really gone through and timestamped key moments. And I can't remember if I actually did include that snippet in there or not that I'm mentioning, but I'm hoping that it's not, you know, like the previous replay on it, because with this, because that was about, you know, showing you guys what happened with a specific instance. But with this, what I'm trying to do now is figure out a way to take all of this coverage and put it into something short, because nobody's going to watch all of this, right? And so to get there, to get from all of that to there, I have to go through a journey, you know, of taking out things. And so it's all documented for the full context, but in terms of what nobody's going to watch. So what am I going to try to bring your attention to here? So I'm trying to work on making shorter videos to highlight some of these instances that I'm concerned about. And so I'm going to kind of try and get there today by starting with a replay of some of the highlights, for lack of better words, or perhaps lowlights, depending on how you look at it. You know, replay situation of things that have happened so far with the Brittany Jones situation that we've covered over this entire time span here. And we're not going to be playing clips from every single video. I think I'm just going to be looking at the 1st, the 3rd, the 6th, the 8th, and the 13th videos that I've done on this. And I've got timestamps written out. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to roll my intro. Then we're going to get started. I'll probably take a break in between the Tajuana and Brittany coverage. But yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and get right on into it, and thank you for joining me today.
Descendants of Seneca. Seneca Maka is the land of the Powhatan.
Okay, so I do need to go work, so I am going to try and make it quick, but y'all know me, I talk a lot, and I feel like there's probably a lot more to go over than I'm actually prepped for, but whatever. We're going to just try and do it anyway. So with the Tajuana situation, so recap on who she is, and just to remind you guys, first of all, I find it quite alarming. So urlebird.com is, you can view people's like TikToks from there whenever, you know, if they have a public profile where they blocked you, for example, or I'm not even logged in, so that wouldn't really matter. I could just go to her TikTok. Or if you don't want to give her page the views, but you still want to see the content, you can use urlebird, and what that does is it doesn't boost her content in the algorithm, but you can still look at it. You know, so yeah, because every view, whether it's a hate view or not, is a boost. So, you know, so if you, yeah. So here on yourlebird.com, we can see her TikTok page. And she says here, we don't have no saviors, we just pray to scalp takers. And I find this right here leans into stereotypes and to harmful tropes about indigenous people, and whether or not, you know, there is evidence of any scalping that did or did not take place in our community, the fact that Native Americans are labeled as like scalpers and Europeans who have done the same things or worse are not, is just wild to me. But yeah, and then where it says mixed Native Oglala, in my past videos, I've already proven how I do not believe she has any Lakota ancestry documented. Her mother is Susan. Her maiden name was Farquhar. When she married to her dad, it was Thornton, and now she remarried to Robinson. So her mother is Susan Farquhar Thornton Robinson. Her father is Rodney Thornton. Neither of them have any indigenous ancestry documented that I could find. No Lakota ancestry. Descendant of Viking royalty, I didn't find any of that shit documented either. You know what I'm saying? And mind you guys, to my knowledge, Viking was like a profession. And anyone who happened to be Viking and royalty happened to have that royal lineage from something else. Being a Viking itself was a profession like a captain or like a pirate, you know. But even that is some shit that existed for the people who actually do have that lineage, you know, who actually do descend from people of that community. Like, that's, you know, because just because you have the descendancy from that region doesn't mean you had a Viking ancestor. Mind you, they weren't all fucking Vikings. Okay, so I know she does have like, and so do I in my family tree. But she does have that ancestry from that region, but I don't think she has anyone labeled as a Viking in her tree. You know, or anyone known as a Viking in her tree. Which Family Search does document a lot of that. Like if there are people who were known as that are correctly documented as such in Family Tree. But just because you're from that region doesn't mean you're a Viking, you know? If that makes sense. And I'm talking like the Scandinavian region and places like that. But yeah, that's not documented in her tree either, and I don't know what the fuck she's going on with that, but that's just, it's funny to me because neither Brittany Jones nor Tajuana Thomas have Lakota or Powhatan or Native ancestry documented in their trees, and they both are claiming like, oh, I'm a Viking Native, or I'm a pagan Native is what Brittany claims, and some shit like that. It's just real funny to me because to my knowledge, neither of them have the lineage for either of those things documented in their tree. So I just find that entertaining. But yeah. So just, this is problematic. Now mind you guys, she has not, these first 3 videos were pinned videos on her page. Then the rest you can see are from a month ago. So you can see she hasn't posted in over a month. Why? Locked up, they won't let me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's in jail, to my knowledge. So yeah. And what is she in jail for? So she is in jail for perjury, false information to law enforcement, and tampering with physical evidence, felony charge. And she's been in there since March 13th. Okay. Now, when you Google Tajuana Thomas court records North Dakota, because I was trying to see if any more information about that case had come out, you will find the Bismark Tribune had published Tajuana Thomas Mandan false report tampering case. I think M-A-N-D-A-N. If I'm not mistaken, that's either I'm so sorry, I'm ignorant to North Dakota. I did not look this up. That's either the city or the county. I cannot remember, but it's one of the two. Apologies, guys. Is that a fucking city? Bruh, I did not look that up, but my bad. So a Mandan woman, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Mandan, who gives a shit? So Mandan woman pleaded not guilty to charges tied to false reports and deleting phone data is the metadata for this article. So so we know she has pleaded not guilty so far. What we did not know is that this was officially tied to deleting phone data. That's new information, isn't it? Yeah. Interesting. Right? So, interesting. Now we can see where the tampering with evidence came in, can't we? And why? Why was that? Why was that? Okay. So, unfortunately for us, when we click that article, what do we come to? A paywall. What do we hate? Paywalls. So, What else did we find related to this? The Facebook post. What does the Facebook post link to? The same fucking paywall. You know what? Let's just go ahead and give this a laugh reaction. Sorry. Now, the Bismark Tribune. And if you want to laugh along with this with me, the link is in the description of this video. As always, I wouldn't leave you hanging. But anyway, here we have that same description. Pleaded not guilty to charges tied to false reports and deleting phone data. And when you click, it goes to that same article locked behind the damn paywall. So, what are we gonna do about that? I went to TLDR This. And what do we have here? We got this. Oh, god damn it. Don't do this to me. But you did so well a second ago. It was showing up a minute ago. Alright, let's try this again. Are you gonna work for me? I had already pulled this up. Y'all saw it, right? I feel gaslit. But I can only do 5 a day, so it might not let me. I might just have to do another one. Isn't that interesting? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to this live stream. And just before this happened, it had shown up, didn't it? Okay. Right here. Okay, yeah, so let's just pause it and let me show you what it had said before. Oh. Okay, right here. Now. So, what it had previously shown me before it decided it wasn't going to work anymore, and that's fine because it pulled up for me once, and I made it, no, pull it from me again. I'm just kidding. So it had said that a woman named Tajuana Thomas was charged in March with felony perjury and tampering with physical evidence, along with a misdemeanor stalking charge. They charged her with a stalking charge? Is that true? I don't know if that's true, if that's a true statement, or if this summarizer read that wrong, because I didn't know it was a stalking charge. I thought it was felony perjury, tampering with evidence, and false statement to the police. That's what we've previously seen documented. But if she also got a stalking charge, that's hilarious. If she didn't, then it would probably be because the TLDR this. I don't know how accurate it is. But anyway, it said the investigation began in February after an anonymous tip alleged a man was abusing a child, but authorities determined the claim was false and traced it back to Thomas. Thomas allegedly accessed the man's cell phone. So right here it says access the man's cell phone remotely. In the other version of this that I had seen, it said woman's phone. That it was saying her phone. So I don't know. And might fix data before it could be examined. So I don't know if she had remote access to his phone somehow because she was in his house for a time and she did have access to his computer. So depending on the connection of those devices and if he was paying attention, there is a possibility of her having remote access to some things on his cell phone, right? Or if it could be like this was the summarizer error, or if it was not even a summarizer error, but if the summarizer was reading what was actually in each article and that was a different statement. I don't know. But yeah, I think it would make more sense if it was her own phone. So I'm assuming it was actually her phone, but I don't know. Small possibility it could have been his, but I think it was hers, and wiped its data before it could be examined. Because I didn't hear about you know, like whenever I asked them, is this really your relative? That would have been a cool time to tell me anything like that happened. So, but okay, so she remains in custody on a $20,000 bond, and the trial is scheduled to begin on July 6th. Is what this says. Trial July 6th. Muy importante. Okay, so around July 6th, I don't know if any information will be out that day, you know, but hopefully around then we have some information available and we can find out the results or see if there's any court documents available for us to check out regarding this, right? Okay, so there is another article about it, similar post, similar situation, a little bit more information. This one says a Bismarck woman is accused of filing false reports about a man, including a fabricated child abuse claim and wiping data from her phone during the investigation. So here they're saying her phone. So I do think it would be her phone. That makes more sense, right? Yeah. Let's do a laugh reaction to this one too. And so unfortunately for us, this goes behind the same paywall situation. And so then I started Googling it to see if like I could find more information here. Also, somebody else with the same name, they have the same name, they are totally different people. I've double checked, they're clearly different people. There is somebody named with the same name, Tajuana Thomas, who happened to kill somebody in Texas, and that is a recent thing. So now, her name is trending, Tajuana Thomas, for lack of better words. I don't like. That feels desensitized to say that in this context, but for lack of better words, with searching on the internet, people are looking for Tajuana Thomas a lot, and so both Tajuana Thomases will show up. They are two different people. The one we are speaking on today is not the one that killed the person in Texas. So just putting that out there. They are not the same people. But anyway, so when you Google this, the overview that is shown, that is kind of like a summary of different search results out there. It says Tajuana Marie Thomas, a Bismarck area woman, faces charges for allegedly filing false reports, including a fabricated child abuse claim against a man she falsely claimed was a relative. Falsely claimed was a relative. The case involves allegations of tampering with evidence by wiping data from her phone, with proceedings recently noted in April 2026. Key details of the case. Charges. Thomas is accused of making false reports, which included a faked child abuse report. Evidence tampering. Reports indicate she wiped data from her phone. Legal status. Thomas has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Background. The case is being handled in the Mandan Bismarck area. Shit, am I even saying that shit right? Fuck if I know. Context. Some reports suggest previous legal issues, though this current case is distinct. And the previous legal issues linked to where I've been talking about the $5,541 that Tajuana Thomas stole from the Girk couple, and she was convicted of theft, and the other charges against her, which did include telecommunications fraud as well as I believe it was forgery, if I'm not mistaken. Those were dropped in exchange for the guilty plea on the theft charge. But she was previously indicted on 7 felony counts and pleaded guilty to 1 in exchange for those other 6 being dropped. And it also linked to where I had previously, talked about her family history. I think it linked to that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So, because I do think it's relevant, but I'm not going to go into all of that before it will be, again, because like I did before, it will be all day. So watch my previous videos for more information on that. But yeah, so that's what you can find for some of that information. So we know she's pleading not guilty, but what we didn't know here, a faked child abuse report. And if that report was, like I said, on the same person, so she's, they're saying on the man she falsely claimed was a relative. That man that she falsely claimed was a relative, that she falsely claimed was her brother. Okay, that's how she claims she's Native, when we know that his mom, who she claims is her mom, is not her mom. We know who her documented parents are. We know that not only does she have documented these two people as her documented parents, but also in previous court records from her childhood, as I mentioned, they were literally saying that it was not a good idea to remove her from her biological actual mother, which was Susan Thornton, and that was literally documented in the court records. And we know she claims Rodney Thornton, so we know those are her parents, right? And so then the woman she's claiming is her Lakota mother is her son is who Tajuana is making these false reports on. And because of this legal action taking place, they can't speak out against Tajuana legally because of all of this shit going down. And Tajuana's out here claiming they're the reason she's Native and using them to get into Native spaces, tokenizing them to get into Native spaces, harassing them, and then silencing them through the legal action, in my opinion. Now, she's still claiming to this day that I'm lying about her mother being Susan Thornton. But even the news outlet, the Bismark Tribune, is saying that she's falsely claiming a relative. And if she fabricated a child abuse claim against a Lakota man, that is so fucking racist. It's not only already racist of her as a European white woman to be falsely claiming a Lakota identity, which is a federal tribe. And I do believe that's illegal. The way that she built her platform, we've already looked at her TikTok. The way she built that identity, that platform off of Native identity. And that's a federally recognized tribe, mind you. So, yeah, just, let that marinate. Let that marinate. So what we're going to do is take it out of here, take it out of here, take it out of here, take it out of here. So, okay, this one's showing for me so far. Well, not for you. Hold on. So, this other TLDR summary of the article, the second article behind the paywall, it says that a woman named Tajuana Thomas was arrested on March 12th and charged with felony perjury and tampering with physical evidence, along with a misdemeanor stalking charge. So here they're saying she got a stalking charge as well. In two different article summaries from the BismarckTribune.com, TLDR This is saying that Tajuana got a stalking charge. So I don't know if TLDR This is summarizing that wrong, or if Bismarck Tribune actually reported that, and if that's actually the truth, and I didn't know that because it just wasn't documented, because the previous coverage on her wasn't showing a stalking charge. So she also got a stalking charge? Holy fuck, right? And then it says the investigation began in February after an anonymous tip alleged a man was abusing a child, which authorities determined was a false claim and traced back to Thomas. Over several months, Thomas repeatedly filed reports about the man, including a domestic violence protection order petition in June 2023, claiming he was her half-brother, and a July 2023 report to Mandan police alleging he threatened to kill her dog. I don't believe that happened, but... Additional filings in August sought disorderly conduct restraining orders, with Thomas variously claiming the man was her brother and cousin. Police determined the man was not related to Thomas. During a March 12th interview, Thomas consented to a search of her cell phone, which she later allegedly accessed remotely and wiped the data before it could be examined. Yeah. Can you say holy fuck, man? Holy shit balls. Yeah, so let that marinate. So, and mind you guys, this is the TLDR summary, and it's from the document from news articles that I linked before from the Bismark Tribune. And yeah. So instead of going behind the paywall and reading what was behind the paywall, I used an online website article summarizer, and I posted the link in there, and I read what the summarizer had to say about the article. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what we found out was that a stalking charge was added to Tajuana Thomas's charges, to my knowledge. We confirmed that this was about the situation I believed it was about. I had no way of knowing it was about that because he didn't tell me that. I didn't talk to him about that since. The only involvement he's ever had in my videos is me literally being like, hey dude, is that even your fucking relative? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was like, hell nah. And I'm just paraphrasing, like highly summarizing. That's not word for word, but you know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm just throwing it out there. Like, isn't that wild? Like, that she got a fucking stalking charge. Perjury, lying, stalking, Tajuana? Who would have thought? Who would have thought, Tajuana? Yeah. So, anyway, totally glad I read this. I believe they said, I forgot the exact date, but I think it was July 6th is when they said court is on. Yeah, July 6th is when trial is set to begin. So don't forget, we're keeping a lookout for around July 6th. That's when trial is set to begin for Tajuana. And we will be covering that, of course, if we can find any records online about the outcome of that case. And justice for the guy that she's making these false reports on. Because how the fuck are you, as someone who is documented fully European, gonna not only be lying about being indigenous, but also be filing false reports against an indigenous man, but you don't think you're a colonizer? But your whole page is built off of you claiming some sort of mixed native identity? That's fucking wild. Fucking wild. Yeah. Anyway, so what I want to do next is get into the Brittany Jones situation. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go recenter myself, and then we're going to come back and we're gonna start getting into the Brittany Jones thing. And yeah, I would like to say that's gonna be fast, but I honestly have no idea how long it's gonna take me. If it takes me longer than an hour, I have failed. You know what I'm saying? After the break, of course. Which the break won't take me too long, but give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, because I just need to, like, the topics I'm about, the next, she triggers me, the next one triggers me, like, a lot. Like, the first one pisses me off, but then it doesn't necessarily impact me directly. So, like, I, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, I'm pissed off on concept, but do I have a lived connection experience with it? No. The next topic relates to my father's ancestry. You know what I'm saying? So that one triggers me more. Not that I'm not equally pissed off at both concepts, because I think they're both, you know, I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm going to just stop talking. I'm going to be right back. I appreciate you. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That's not the right button. Apologies. sorry about that. All right, so as I already mentioned, what I'm trying to do, which I don't, if this can get there, that would be amazing. But I don't know. I feel like that's too big of a goal, too big of a reach to get there in this stream. I'm trying to get to a condensed, smaller, shortened version of showing you guys some of these issues, because ain't nobody got time to watch everything that we've covered on this previously. You know, like, this is a lot. My first video was 6 hours. These videos, there's a couple of shorter ones, but a lot of these videos are 2-3 hours more. You know, look, well, this one's a 5-minute replay clip of the previous video. So Brittany Jones is basically discrediting the MMIW movement. She was basically saying that MMIW has all of the awareness in human trafficking, and that other communities needed more, that human trafficking needed more awareness outside of MMIW is what she was saying. And I was like, holy fuck, that is so racist, because that contradicts the entire point of MMIW. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of what she says is not in alignment with supporting indigenous community, but she claims she's doing these things to support natives, but she does not value native input or native correction on her statements, and she doesn't go correct her statements, because that would require her having to admit she's not actually as connected to native community as she claimed to these people, in my opinion, right? But so I already did in my last video, I think it was the Is Brittany Jones Native American when she has no native ancestors documented video. I did do a review and I read everything about what I had covered. We went over all of that previously already, so I'm not gonna go over all of that again. Yeah, so that, like, detail summary recap of everything we've gone over is done in video number 13, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, y'all can go check that out there. Fucking where we're at now, what I want to try to do though, because so much has happened, I'm gonna just kind of go replay some key moments that have stood out to me. And mind you guys, this isn't everything that has happened, and I'm gonna try my hardest not to add more commentary, because you can go watch my commentary in this playlist, but the point of this is to condense it down if I can, because nobody's gonna watch all of that, right? And so let me show you guys why you should go watch all of it if I can. But yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of start getting on into it. We're not gonna watch everything. We're not watching from every single video either. And let's see. Yeah, we're not gonna be watching from every single video either. And it's not necessarily going to be all connected. It kind of is all connected because it's all related to Brittany Jones, but it's not, you know what I mean? I'm just going to be showing you guys the clips, and maybe I'll be trying to tell you, like, as we go. For example, the first clip we're going to watch, which isn't this is just where we landed. But the first thing that we are going to watch comes from, let's see. Okay, I have to go do this manually. First, we're going to watch a section related to discrediting Bill Deyo and Patawomecks. I wish I could, like, go set it to a time. I wanted to start at 32 minutes and 50 seconds, but it's starting at 34, so I am muting it here, and I'm going to pause it at 32:50. But first we're going to watch just a little snippet about discrediting Bill Deyo and Patawomecks. In the comments here, so first of all, we're going to watch this video, and we'll address some of these issues. But here it says, Oregon Governor candidate Brittany Jones claiming this is her cousin who is Native American, who, like her, is presenting as white. All research on the tribe goes back to him and him only. all research on the tribe does not only go back to him. Sorry, wrong button. So yeah, so next up, so first, you know, I'm showing you here, we have an example where we have people discrediting Bill Deyo and Patawomecks in relation to Brittany Jones, right? Next up, I want y'all to look at where, again, in relation to Brittany Jones, we have mocking federal recognition and our chief. Let's see. I want to start at 54:24, but it came too soon. So sorry. Let's go back. That's so funny because it's like it won't let me go that. So every time I keep trying to click closer to 54:24, it will only go back down to 53:15 for some reason. So we are fast forwarding here. So first, what I've shown you guys is a statement related to people discrediting Bill Deyo and Patawomecks. Next, we are going to be looking at here mocking federal recognition and our chief. That is coming up. Oh, we're almost there at 54:24. Oh, okay. And we're going to go back to normal playback speed, unmute, here we are, apologies. Winner. And then someone else is showing where here, for federal recognition, oh wait, no, this is Googling the same thing. I had Google before, I was trying to copy that and open that. Where are they showing here? I believe it's the federal recognition paperwork, yep, of the Potomac Indian tribe. They're sharing that. They have a problem with it. The Patawomeck tribe and the Mattapana Nation both put their federal recognition in around the same time. And yeah, I just, ugh. And someone says that the chief is a white man. Whether we are mixed or not has nothing to do with whether or not we are also native. And acting like, oh, mixed natives are invalid is indigenous erasure and genocide. It's literally you whitewashing us when we still have our ancestral connection. We still have our language. We still have our culture. We still have our ways. We still have our teachings. Just because we haven't been federally recognized doesn't mean we aren't still fucking here. So trying to act like, oh, we don't deserve recognition because you don't care, because you fucking don't give a fuck that we, okay, so yeah. And then mind you guys, so yeah, they were making fun of our chief. I felt like they were discrediting Bill Deyo. I felt like they were mocking Patawomecks. I felt like they were mocking Patawomeck federal recognition. And all of this was in relation to Brittany Jones. Okay. Next up, let's see if it will work with me because the timestamp is not collaborating. Oh, that was it. Let's see if it works. So next up, if this works, we have an anonymous source that claims they're Patawomecks. Oh! No. Who this is, but let's get on this side tangent. So, Golden Turquoise had commented, and Raven sent this to me, by the way, but Golden Turquoise, and mind you guys, I kept calling Brittany Jones Raven. Oh shit, I hope I wasn't muted before. Whatever, if I was muted, then I'm gonna still try and maybe save the clip and maybe do like a voiceover if I do end up using it to try and edit this down to a smaller version if I can or something, but hopefully I wasn't muted before. Sorry guys. But I keep saying Raven when I mean Brittany Jones because she would be messaging me from her account called The Raven's Party, and when I'm like looking at it or remembering it, I kept calling her Raven, but I'll be referring to Brittany Jones. And one time I accidentally called someone else actually named Raven Costello, Olivia Garcia, they're both Mattapani women who do two totally different things. So I was having a brain fart, sunset, mind tired moment, but whatever, life is hard. Had commented, on on a post somewhere, and someone had commented on that go to turquoise post with somebody else tagged, but these names were sent to me crossed out, so I don't know who it was. But somebody said that, well, I'm gonna just read the comment. It says, well, she said she's from the Patawomeck Indians of Virginia tribe. And when she said that on TikTok, I looked into it because I am a tribal member of that tribe. And I called and asked, she's part of our tribe, and she is not. We do not condone this behavior. So I don't know who this person is. I don't know if someone actually from the Patawomeck tribe or not is actually speaking on this. It could actually be a Patawomeck tribe. Okay, yeah, because that person didn't, whoever it was didn't disclose their name and stuff, so I can't verify who that was. But, you know, that is something that has stood out to me. Next up, let's see if this will show up to me correctly. We've got a car raffle situation that I keep bitching about. What is that about? Let me show you guys. We are going to watch that.
Hey everyone.
Now, given the situation, you know, we previously saw clips where she had discussed she didn't have much money personally or through her campaign, and now there is an issue here about like the car situation. I do feel like this post is interesting to look at. On here in the comments, he does say that it was posted 2023, not 2024 in the comments here. But the overlay of the description says this car you posted this the overlay says 2024. The comments say they meant 2023. You raised $57,000. You went to Arizona in 2025 with said car. Why wasn't it given away? And then we'll look at the video in a minute, but I believe Brittany said that she was going to give this car away. And the description says, Oregon State Governor candidate Brittany Jones stated in 2023, not 2024, she was going to raffle off this vehicle under her presidential campaign, yet a year later while in Arizona, she still owned the vehicle. She raised well over $20,000, but never raffled off the vehicle. The Oregon voters want to know why you didn't keep your promise to the American people while running for president. Disclaimer, all videos are protected under the Freedom of Information Act of 1976 under the Fair Use section, section 107. These videos aren't related to the Freedom of Information Act. This is about the Fair Use section isn't about freedom of information. Fair use is about copyright law. Freedom of information is separate from fair use. But you know what? That's a different conversation. Okay, apologies. Let's see what this video says.
It's Brittany Jones, the presidential candidate for 2024, and I have some exciting news for you. So watch this whole video. Don't forget to like and follow as well. We have a fundraising goal of $20,000, but I firmly believe in giving back to the community. I always have. I'm here to tell you, as soon as we reach $20,000, we will be donating this car that we're in right now. We got it for the campaign, to someone in need. Right, Alette?
Right.
What are we gonna do with the car?
Gonna donate the car.
And this is what the car looks like. It's an older car. It's 2005, but it runs and drives. Automatic 2005 Nissan Armada. Has towing capacity, has a towing kit, so you can actually already just attach a ball and tow a trailer. So this will be going to a person in need as soon as we reach the $20,000 threshold. And for $5 donated to our Cash App, PayPal, or our website, you can have a uplifting comment written on the vehicle with your name, or whatever name you prefer, along with the comment. So I want this car to be covered in positivity. So while Alette is crawling back to her seat to buckle up, I am going to show you the PayPal information, the Cash App information, and the website. screenshot the next image so you have it for your records, and I think we can reach $20,000 in 1 week. Let's do this, guys.
So yeah, that's just a car raffle situation, right? Now let's get into so whenever I watched this the first time, I did not understand the context for it. But basically, Brittany Jones, when she was running for president, she ran independent and she was talking shit on Democrats. Then she started running for governor as a Democrat and started talking shit on independents. So now everybody's like, doesn't this make you look like a hypocrite? And I'm highly summarizing what happened, but basically in a nutshell. In my opinion, that's kind of what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? So, when I first saw this, I didn't understand what this video was a response to, but I was like, oh, okay. But rewatching it within context of this other statements she has made is really fucking funny. So now we're gonna watch the first video where Brittany addressed running for Democrat, if it loads for me. Let's try hit and play and see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't love me right now. Thoughts and prayers. Should I try refreshing? I would rather not do that. I'm gonna give it a minute. Might have too many tabs up. Apologies. Okay, let's try this again. Another thing, they're trying to market her as someone, you know, claiming she's running for governor as the first Native American governor. And I just don't think that is a title that properly fits her. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's not, I don't know. But we've already discussed that in the rest of my videos. This isn't loading though, but let's just try reloading it one more time.
Primaries, you guys. I'm a registered Democrat.
Okay. It started on an automatic 2-time playback speed. Let's put it on 1 time. Let's start at, here we go. God damn it. Well, it's not wanting to skip through the timestamps, and that's the entire point of me doing this live stream, is to go through timestamps. So, you know, here I am stalled, and that is why my videos take so long, because I'll see the live stream. But what I'm hoping I can do to condense all of this is make a shorter video. Okay, so it's automatically playing here, but this is too far in, and so I want to come back to 5, and it's automatically playing at 2 times speed for some reason. But when I try going back, it's not working. I'm gonna try starting here. Okay, let's see if it automatically plays normal. It's in normal speed, so if it is sped up, that's not me. Now we are going to watch what she had to say about that finally. It just took me forever to get there. Sorry.
In my comments and saying, we're not voting blue anymore, no more blue, vote red, turn Oregon red. I am campaigning for the primaries, you guys. I am a registered Democrat. If you are not a registered Democrat, you don't get to vote for me in May. you cannot vote for me in May. We are not turning Oregon red or blue in May. It is the primaries. It is where your party and your constituents registered to your party vote for who your party nominates and pushes forward for the general election. It's not until November that you guys actually could start the rhetoric of, let's turn Oregon red. You're welcome. Why the fuck do Republicans keep coming in my comments and saying, we're not voting?
So I just thought that was interesting. Because other statements she's made about it. Now, I want to show her statement on land back next, which happens to be where we're at, which is great. So hopefully it doesn't fuck up on me. But yeah, now I want to watch her statement on land back, which I also find, problematic in relation to other things that have come out. But yeah, let's get there too.
And then to take it away and then do all this illegal bullshit. I'm tired, but I was put here for a reason. And I asked, should I fight this? Should I fight this? And then an elder from Standing Rock who was there for the DAPL line, who was in the protests, she told me, teach them, educate those people out there what land back means. So here I am. I'm going to educate these people on what land back means.
And notice, you guys, she's outside the Gingerbread Village here. This is about the Gingerbread Village, which is where she got evicted from illegally occupying. And then she's trying to associate that with the land back movement. Wild, right?
True sovereignty, true freedom, and give us our fucking land back. And there's people out there trying to badmouth me already, saying that I'm not really.
So theoretically, I support the theoretical goals of education on land back, but I think Brittany should question if she's the correct person to be a thought leader on that issue, or would she be a better person to rather be? Because for me, for example, like when people ask me to teach them sign language, I don't teach them sign language. I go tell them where they can go learn sign language from. So there's a difference between being the person that's a good source on something versus being someone people can go to find the source on something. And I think that is more of a Descendant role. You know what I mean? There are certain parts of history and everything that I feel very comfortable to speak on because the facts don't change. 2 + 2 = 4. But when it comes to advanced shit, I'm gonna go get a mathematician, to write out a formula, right? The same way I'm gonna get the historian to come explain some shit. Like, I just feel like her role in the land back movement, I don't feel should be on the platform that she is currently trying to use for it, but I feel that part of her learning journey is gonna have to be, her coming to her own processing on the social issues with this representation, and hopefully one day someone says to her connects with some of the harm being caused with some of those issues, as to how it escalated here, but yeah, let's keep seeing what this said.
Native. When I am, my family, even though I'm not enrolled, they claim me. They're endorsing me for my political run. They're endorsing me for my political run. And then trying to say that I lost custody of my kids. I have custody of my kids. Trying to say I abandoned my kids.
I have criticisms about, things that I've seen her say about her kids and ways she's used her kids in content. So I've defended her against statements that she's making right here where people are saying things like she's abandoned and stuff. Like, look, I can think that you're a good mom, but still have criticisms about some of the shit you did. That doesn't necessarily think you're a bad mom. It just means I think you made some bad choices. So both statements can be true, where I've said, I think she's a good mom, but I've also said that I highly disagree with certain things that she's done, and you can watch my past videos for that, when it comes to medical exploitation of her kids and shit like that. That doesn't necessarily I think she's a bad parent. It just means I think she did something bad that I disagree with. I don't know if I'm making sense. But I think both can be true. Like, you know what I mean? You can criticize someone and think something that someone did was not right, and not necessarily think that they're a bad person, but sometimes it's things that add up, or how people respond to accountability, that then makes you think they could be a bad person. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so y'all can watch the rest of the clip in the original video. I'm not going to keep playing from there. Y'all get the point where, I felt like she was trying to use the land back movement in association with where she got evicted. I thought that was problematic. So that's all for part 1 here. Let's see if video 3 wants to work with us or not. But here I want to show you guys. Oh, it autoplayed. Sorry. Let's see. We're gonna go to how Brittany. I first saw in my live stream where Brittany was using MMIR, missing and murdered indigenous relative, or not maybe because she had used it before, but one of the times where I already covered how she used it in her governor campaign, but specifically showing the presidential campaign here. I just want to show you guys. I did previously cover an Instagram post she made and gave my thoughts about her use of the missing and murdered indigenous relative crisis there. I'm not going to play that segment here. I just want to put that out there and show, that she was previously making statements, not only claiming that she was indigenous. You know what, fuck it. I think I am just going to fucking play I wasn't going to because I'm trying to save time. But if it doesn't make it into later things, that's fine. But I'm just going to go ahead and play it now. Fuck it. Because I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like it needs to be redone. Needs to be covered. She was participating in the missing and murdered indigenous relative races. MMIR stands for missing and murdered indigenous relatives, if you don't know. So she's connecting the virtual race to. Apologies, it auto played on 2x speed. I want to play normally. Here we go. Her presidential campaign. So down here, and being an indigenous woman. So right here it says, if you would like to support the missing and murdered indigenous relative virtual race, or donate to the cause, please visit the official MMIW website at mmiwusa.org. Your contribution will help provide resources and support for the families and communities of missing and murdered indigenous women. As a presidential candidate, I'm committed to using my platform to raise awareness about the MMIR crisis and work towards meaningful change. I believe that we can create a society where everyone is safe and valued, regardless of their gender, race, or background. Let's continue to stand together and fight for justice and equality for all. I'm honored to have the opportunity to participate in the missing and murdered indigenous relative virtual race, and I'm inspired by the strength and resilience of our indigenous community. Okay, so right here, if she had left the presidential part out and the rest of it was the post, and the only part and that was the post, it would be an amazing post in and of itself. No notes, no commentary. It's the association with the presidential campaign that then becomes problematic, because it's the use of trauma that you may not have direct experience with. I don't know, because it is a fact that even if you're white presenting, you can experience the ramifications of the missing and murdered indigenous woman crisis, relative crisis. all Potomac descendants. Okay, from there I go into a ramble about how I don't think that just because you're a mixed native that necessarily means that you have lived experience on being targeted for being indigenous, is the ramble I go on from there. Because not every mixed native does, and sometimes we do, but not every time we've ever been targeted is because we're indigenous, you know, and it's a fact that we need to acknowledge. Like, it's not the same. But yeah, so, and I had also in this live stream gone on about her use and verbiage and problems and social issues with how she uses Native identity as well, particularly for her presidential campaign. And yeah, and so the next step, I specifically I want to show where I specifically discuss how I believe this her actions have ended up causing direct harm to the Patawomeck tribe as well. Yeah. Let's transition to the recapping the calamity in terms of the political climate that I've been speaking on and referencing to why I think this specific timing too of how Brittany is using the Patawomeck identity in her political campaigns is what could be causing harm to Patawomeck tribe via public perception, at a time where we are trying to change public perception in order for our recognition. What is happening on the other side, what Patawomecks are currently more focused on right now? We have the Virginia Board of the Stafford, Virginia Board of Supervisors, as well as Helen Roundtree, as well as Jerry Lynn McGregor and Rick McGregor. We have all of them basically arguing, you know, they took away Patawomeck land. They are claiming that if you look like my dad, you are white, incorrectly claiming indigenous heritage, that you're not a descendant of Native people, that no documentation exists, and they're saying that if you look like my dad, you're selling a lie about being Native, and that you're too white to be Native. They don't recognize our treaties, they don't recognize birth certificates, they don't recognize our census records, they don't recognize our obituaries, they don't recognize our marriage records, they don't recognize our wills, oral histories, they don't recognize their own colonizer documents on us. They don't recognize our tribal connections or with other people that they do recognize. They don't recognize archaeology that confirms our presence continuously. They don't recognize the DNA results which confirm we are Patawomeck, and they don't recognize that my dad experiences racism from them or others. Right. Okay, so let's get into that. So mind you, the Virginia Stafford Board of Supervisors, these are the people who recently voted to take away Patawomeck land. And when they were voting to take away Patawomeck land, people who were speaking out for them to take away Patawomeck land were, and mind you guys, I've already read all of this, so go check out my previous shit for that, because I'm not doing that again. That would be Helen Roundtree, two Native American chiefs that don't want to name themselves, as well as Jerry Lynn McGregor, and as well as Rick McGregor. So yeah, I've already addressed this article. I'm not doing it again. I'm just pulling it up to cite like the bullshit, you know, with the Brittany Jones situation. And mind you guys, I just want to remind everybody that non-Indigenous scholars cannot be experts on Indigenous people. Helen Roundtree is being published online with words that market her as an expert on Indigenous people. I do not believe she is one. And my basis for that has been, and I will maintain, that if you're not Native, you cannot be an expert on what it is to be Native. Okay? I'm just putting that out there. Not everybody agrees with me on that, but you can suck my fucking dick. So, I just want to remind everybody, like, this is the climate we're in. Yeah. And it's so when people want to know, like, why aren't Patawomeck tribes speaking out about Brittany Jones, it's because they got this other shit going on, is what I believe, is what I was saying. And why do I believe Brittany's having people, you know, question, like, Bill Deyo, the Patawomeck tribe, mocking our federal recognition and mocking the chief at the time when our federal recognition's in the air and they voted to take away land from the Patawomeck tribe. All of that timing doesn't look good, in my opinion, for that to be the social normalization of the Patawomeck treatment and how she encourages that. And because it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's all connected. So I'm not going to try spiraling that right now. I need to keep going. But I hope y'all understand, like, where I'm coming from there. So, and I'm also, you know, through this process trying to show you guys how I went from basically being like, if Bill says she is, then that's it, to fuck that bitch, you know? Because at the beginning of this, she had asked me to defend her. And I was like, I'm going to do my best. And the best I could do was, if our tribal historian confirms her lineage, then it's not my place to question him. That's the best I could do. But I also couldn't look at everything else I saw and be like, this is invalid to question, as we've been reviewing so far, you know? So, yeah. Just, like, marinating on that. Also, and I think it was episode 4 here, or, you know, video 4, where, something I didn't include in here was the false protection order. I don't, you know, I wasn't going to say that in here, but put that in here. I didn't put it on my list to go in here, so I don't have the timestamp already prepped. But I kind of want to go over it anyway. Oh my god. Here we go. Fuck it. We're gonna put this in here. Because, shit, she's running for governor. So, here, I'm just gonna replay this too. Fuck. Against your former landlord, as well as a separate breach of contract claim. Seems like it was more than just a landlord-tenant dispute, or at least you're trying to make it into more than just a landlord-tenant dispute. Weren't you also the one posting about the whole thing on TikTok in a way that seemed targeted towards your landlord personally? And she said, I have never filed a stalking order. I did attempt to sue a previous landlord for sexual harassment, but the lawyer I was assigned wanted to charge $1,500 to get the text off my phone, which I could not afford. Sometimes justice is reserved for the rich. I will keep standing up to the system, though. And somebody said, I'm assuming this is a docket number. I don't know. I'm not reading that. It says Brittany Jones versus Carol Sarot, stalking protective order filed in Lane County, Oregon on November 6, 2025. Denied by Judge Fennerty same day because the allegations in the petition didn't meet the statutory minimums. Petition alleges Old Gingerbread Village tried to have sheriff illegally remove us. Sat outside of the restaurant. Sheriff informed her she had to do a legal eviction. That's not you. And then they cited another, what I'm assuming is a docket number, and it says Brittany Jones versus Carol Sarot, breach of contract and wrongful eviction claim filed in Lane County on November 7, 2025. That's not you? And she replied, my bad, I misunderstood. I thought you meant one before her. This was all a part of the tenant issue and was filed due to an illegal lockout. It is under the same category but not the same as a restraining or stalking order. It's a preliminary injunction. In my opinion, if it was a preliminary injunction and that's it, it wouldn't have been worded as a stalking protective order. But I just worked at 3 law firms. The third one might not even count, so, like, who knows? What do I know? Anyway, yeah, she said, someone else said, quoting her, I have never filed a stalking order. My bad, I misunderstood. I thought you meant one before her. I do not think you misunderstood. And no, filing for a stalking protective order is not a preliminary injunction. A preliminary injunction is a preliminary injunction. And she said, I filed a preliminary injunction. Stalking orders go through a separate courtroom, and they're also labeled separately in the court documents unless there was legit a clerical error. Oh, god damn it, the caption isn't working. Let me refresh this. Okay, all I did was read the preliminary injunction Reddit thread comment. And I also think I said that the preliminary injunction would not have been labeled as a stalking order if it was a preliminary injunction unless that was a clerical error. Someone said different dockets, not different courtrooms. It sounds like you're admitting now that you did file a stalking protective order. That's good progress. She said, no, you can pull up the document and see that it's a preliminary injunction. I'll have to pull up the oh, I don't have to, apparently. It says, no, it's not. I gotta say, it's very concerning that you're running for governor and you don't know what documents you filed in court, or at least don't understand their meaning. So this document, it says, in the Circuit Court of State of Oregon, for the County of Lane, Brittany Jones is the petitioner. Versus Carol Sorrell, lives in the County of Lane, Oregon. Respondent for Lane, Oregon. Says her age was 36. Respondent, question mark, contact. It says, within the past 2 years, respondent has engaged in repeated and unwanted contact with me or a member of my immediate family or household by, and it says, describe the incidents of contact beginning with the most recent, include who is contacted. It includes the date and the time, Gingerbread Village, description, tried to have sheriff illegally remove us. Sat outside a restaurant. Sheriff informed her she had to do a legal eviction. I cannot speak. And it says date and an approximate time, location. It doesn't show us the next one. But, yeah. And it says over here with the case number, it says petition for stalking protective order filed. And on the bottom, it's labeled civil stalking petition. So, yeah, it's not a good look for Brittany, in my opinion. I will, you know what I mean? Like, I just, oh, yeah, I had done some zoomies. And then she says, oh, wow, I absolutely, completely forgot about, oh, god damn it. Forgot about this one. And then she laughs, ha ha ha. Yeah, this was before I knew the difference. And I filed the correct form and it was approved. I'm not a lawyer, so there was some trial and error in the beginning. So, none of that looks good for her. And then someone said, no, it was not approved. It was denied for not meeting the statutory minimums. Petitioner did not establish a claim for relief. Any response to my statement that it is concerning for a candidate for governor to not understand basic court forms. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand these documents or to recall statements that you made under penalty of perjury. And don't you think a candidate for governor should be confident enough to read and understand a document like this? Yeah, because it's like, no offense, Brittany, but basically being like, I forgot about this stalking order I filed, and it's not that I was trying to file a stalking order. I was just too stupid to realize the paper that is labeled stalking order multiple times wasn't the same as a preliminary injunction, which is different. And how are you confusing the two? Look, I'm not, wait, I think I just called her stupid. That was rude. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to call you stupid. That was mean. But I'm saying that's how people are taking your comment. Like, that's how it looks, you know what I mean? Because it's either you're aware of what you're filing, or you're filing documents and you're not aware of what they mean. Either way, that does not look, so you're either aware of it and are lying, or you're not aware, filing things you don't know what you're doing. Either way, that doesn't look good for you. You know what I mean? Like, And that's why these types of things, like, it's like, and then she said, I literally had a preliminary injunction approved, which is how we got back into the building in the first place. I filed 2 of them. I understand that, but that doesn't, oof. And someone said, which has what to do exactly with the stalking protective order that you denied existed. I'm going to say again, don't you think a governor should be able to understand basic court filings and forms? Don't you think a governor should be able to keep track of a conversation or of a particular court case that they initiated? Don't you think a governor should be able to remember documents they personally filed in court under penalty of perjury? And says, bro, did you dig into some of the other docs? I have secondhand embarrassment. One of her hearing memorandums was very clearly written by ChatGPT. Under Oregon law allows, with absolutely no statutory authority cited once. ChatGPT once told me Oregon was a community property state. I'm not done with COTEC, but this is going to be a no from me, dog. And someone said her replies sound honestly like an AI chatbot in this thread. Somebody else said, asked and answered, move on, counselor. And someone said, this post got deleted, but I did a deep dive on this lady. There's so much more. And another person said, I've already admitted that I forgot I filed that. And mentioned, I filed a preliminary injunction after. So now we're going back here to the original thread. Okay. Okay, I think that's it for that part there. Apologies, I didn't plan for that one to be in. I just decided to throw it in there. Now, what I need to do also is go through and count these things. So, fucking, yeah, where are we? Marco. Okay. So, the next part here, so that I want to replay, and I covered it more fully in the text in this video here that we're reviewing. I did a full review of Brittany Jones' mother's family tree, and we found that there wasn't a single indigenous ancestor documented on Family Search for her mother's side. And so I already clicked through every single one of these, and I'm not going to do that again on live stream. Because we ain't got time for all that. That took a long time. That was previously covered here though. So, but what I do want to get into, and I meant to do this previously, but I forgot to do that before, is I want to show you guys some screenshots from the drive. So, from the email. So, and mind you guys, Brittany Jones sent me these, screenshots I'm going to show you. We are no longer on speaking terms, but when we were, she was complaining to me about people speaking negatively of her. I told her, why don't I do a video where I review everything and release the footage, of any evidence there is, and I can show the confirmation and discuss why Bill Deyo is verified and valid with Patawomeck Tribe, and why the Patawomeck Tribe is valid and stuff like that is what I wanted to do. And originally she was like, no. And I told her, if they're even making fun of Bill Deyo, she was like, well, that sucks, you know. But then again, she was telling me she did not want me to do a video. She didn't think it would help. And I was trying to convince her why I think it would help. Like how I thought, you know, even if people don't like her, that if I could back up Bill Deyo, at least that aspect of him, that it would, you know, help in that regard. And so she had sent me the emails between William Deyo and her, right? And I already did a full reading. So I'm not going to redo all of that, but he had already, but what I can tell you from this is that he did tell 2 people that I'm aware of, at least. One would be Nadine Campbell, and the second would be Star, that she was indigenous. that she had but what he told them was that she has a valid Patawomeck descent, but cannot become a full tribal member because her family left the area too early. You know, and so I know that he told 2 people that she had very far back distant ancestry. What I also know, is, you know, when Brittany said, I want to make sure you're not being harassed, he said, yes, I have been. So yeah, let that marinate, right? And what I also have is, she sent me proof where, when I asked her for proof of a bill confirming her lineage and proof that she was Native, what she sent me was where he reviewed their Jed match. That is how her lineage is verified, through Jed match. That there's far distant relation through Jed match. No lineal documentation is documented of her ancestry. No Native ancestors are documented in family search. And I've previously gone over reasons that could be as well. But what we're here for is competing statements, you know. So what I'm aware of, she didn't get this confirmed by the historian until October 2023. She claimed she found this information out in 2021. So yeah, I've already done a full reading of our text messages, so I'm not gonna do another because the point of this video is to make it condensed. And but what I will say, for example, she was saying that she was related through Patawomeck or Powhatan to someone, and I said, and I was letting her know Powhatan tribe no longer exists. And she keeps saying she's related to people, but she doesn't know how she's related to them, which confuses me, right? And she keeps saying she's related to me or something, but she can't tell me who her ancestors are that make us related. What is her lineage? I don't know. She doesn't say it. And I just think that's weird. It's like, so for example, I have first cousins that I do not know. We share the same grandfather. Our parents are brother and sister, or brothers, because on my dad's side. My dad is one of 11 kids. I have a shit ton of first cousins on that side, and I don't know all of them. So I could see there's a reality for me where people can come up to me and they could be like, I'm your first cousin. I am Carson Eugene's grandkid. And they could basically be like, I'm not going to say my aunt and uncle's names. They could be like, I am so-and-so's kid, right? And so off the top of my head, right, I wouldn't basically know for sure if they're telling me the truth. I would have to, you know what I mean? Unless I absolutely knew they were not. For example, one of my dad's siblings passed away. And so if someone told me that they were that person's kid, I would know they were lying, because that person passed away when they were really young, too young to have kids. You know, and so I would know they were lying. So, but if it was somebody else, yeah, there's a shot it could be, right? But, and my point being is, you know, anybody can claim they're related to anybody, but you know what I can do at the end of the day? I can call my aunts and uncle up. I can call my dad up. I can be like, hey, is so-and-so a relative? Is so-and-so your kid? You know what I'm saying? And I can figure out for sure, oh, is this actually my cousin? Because, look, even if I haven't talked to my aunts or uncles in 20 fucking years, yeah, I can stalk the shit out of them on Facebook. I'll get in touch with them eventually. You know what I mean? There's always a way to find out. By asking enough relatives, I'm gonna find for sure. But with Brittany Jones, we can't do that because no one knows how she's a relative. All we know is that there's the Jed match confirmation from Bill Deyo. So that's why a lot of Patawomecks, in my opinion, when I say they don't feel a relation to her, it's because no one knows how we are related to her. With any other person claiming Powhatan, you know what we'll be doing? We'll be sitting together, not only doing our Powhatan, seeing what is our common ancestry, you know what I mean? Figuring out how related we are to each other. I've got one cousin, both of our parents we're related on both sides to each other. Both of our parents have relations across both sides. Like, for example, because of the way our colonialism happened with our family history. And we can't do that with her because she doesn't, if that information was documented in her family tree, like, you know what I mean? Like, the closest thing is she descends from the colonizer ancestors that are documented related to my family tree, but there's no Powhatan ancestors documented, you know? And so, yeah, that's where I feel there's like a lot of confusion there. And mind you guys, right here, she was telling, like, this is where she was telling me she didn't want me to post anything. And, you know, and even after I was telling her that they were making fun of Bill Deyo, she still didn't want me to post anything, and that rubbed me the wrong way as well. So her mom posted this news clip, right, on Facebook. And this news clip, she was posting that this is her parents' anniversary. Not anniversary, that this was her parents' wedding announcement. Mr. Ralph McNeil, Charlotte Wolf, and William. So that's where we get William Ralph McNeil and Charlotte Imogene Wolf, the family tree. That's verifying that, yes, those are her grandparents on her mother's side. Now let's confirm. So again, mind you guys, where is it? She's claiming that she's Patawomeck on her mother's side, okay? She claims she's a Patawomeck on her mother's side. And she started speaking about claiming she has a Native ancestry in 2021, but she did not get any sort of verification by any Patawomecks tribal member, which would be William Deyo. Tribal historian emeritus, she got the Jed match confirmed 2023. That is the extent, to my knowledge, of any affiliation, connection, association she actually has with the tribal members, to my knowledge. Now, because of Bill Deyo, you know, if Bill Deyo confirmed her lineage, up to this point of me doing these videos, I wasn't speaking out about my doubts or anything about anything, because I would never want to do anything or say anything to disrespect Bill Deyo or the tribe. And if anything that I've said or done has that impact, I would love to take accountability for that, because I understand, and I don't want to do that even if that's not my intent. But it's like, because of where we are at with other statements that have come out, I was questioning, like, is this, you know what I mean? Like, is this, not only is this true, but also it's like, can someone who just found out their Jed match DNA 2023 that they had Native ancestry and be someone who now claims that they can speak from a Native lived experience? So that's where I say she's specifically lying, where she, these other things that we're going to continue going into, where she makes these statements that I don't think align with facts, right? And mind you guys, also, she can't say Patawomeck, right? She keeps saying Patawomecks. She doesn't know how to say Patawomeck. And she also claims that she descends from the 5 civilized tribes, Chickasaw, Choctaw, or Blackfoot. On her dad's side, I found none of that lineage documented at all. On her, you know what I mean? I just want to put that out there as well. So, yeah. And when she was asking me for an endorsement, I said I could only do that if I give a full analysis of the issues, of all the issues, so it's genuine, and not just me being like, here's a filtered statement. And I think that will go farther. And so if you notice, especially the first 2 videos I did, I was basically like, if Bill Deyo says she's Native, it's not my place to question him. We don't have to like her, but if she is, it could not be possible she actually is a descendant that we just don't like, right? And so that's where I really was at the beginning. And part of that was, you know, and, you know, like, yeah, I just, how she, part of that was just like how she tries to represent herself, in my opinion, to be someone that can speak from a place of being indigenous when she does not have that lived experience. Because I do not believe that finding out in 2021 or 2023 that you have any Native ancestry is equivalent to being able to speak from the place of a Native woman, in my opinion. I think that takes more community connection, cultural connection. Like, in my opinion, if you're using far distant ancestry, that's weaponizing blood quantum to claim a closer proximity to a community that you don't know, then, you know what I mean? So for reasons that we've discussed related previously in our Descendant and Descendantism and what does it mean to be indigenous coverage is what I'm speaking on, related to other statements she makes. Not just because she has lineage far back. I know a lot of people with lineage far back, they know their fucking language, they know their fucking ways, they go to ceremony, they were never not raised in their fucking community. I'm speaking to people who were never part of their community, do not know their ways, found out through a GEDmatch DNA analysis in their 30s, and now want to act as if they've always been Native. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I'm showing these specific screenshots to show you guys evidence. I did already tell her what I was gonna do with these videos, and I already came to her about twice. She told me twice she didn't want me to do it. I told her twice I wanted to do it anyway. But yeah. So just putting all of that out there, I think I covered all of that. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and play you guys all of the voice messages that Brittany Jones previously left to me. And I think I played those videos in the Brittany Jones Lies About Native Connection video that I first did. Oh, sorry, that's not showing. The 8th video I did on this situation. Brittany Jones Lies About Native Connection, that one right there, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. But in that one, I played these messages right as well. And I think in that one and the next two is where I try to basically not only play these messages, but also show where I believe her messages to me are not in alignment with what I feel happened. But yeah, so you can go watch those previous videos to watch the full coverage and context on all of that. But just to give you guys what I'm speaking on right now, I'm just going to try and shut up and play these voice snippets real quick. Hold on. They pissed me off though, so it's hard for me to, you know.
I have never said I've been connected to the Patawomecks since childhood, for one.
And you guys, it's Patawomeck. It's not Patawomeck, it's Patawomeck. She doesn't know how to say Patawomeck. Wait, Patawomeck, shit. God damn it. It's not Patawomeck, it's Patawomeck.
For two, neither did my mom. She was part of the Native American Student Association in Lane County, and I never said that I grew up with the Native experience either. I clearly say that I hadn't. I say I had a connection to the Native community out here as a child, and it ended when my mom graduated college. I literally sent Bill my DNA. We are blood relatives, and I sent him my genealogy.
You know, another thing I don't think I've said in these streams, I don't think you're necessarily blood relatives with everybody that you have common ancestry with. Just putting that out there, because sometimes when your ancestry is so far back, you may not share technical blood DNA with that ancestor.
So maybe you should have came and verified shit with me before you posted shit that could cause harm to a Native woman, especially a relative.
And mind you guys, I've already shown you guys proof of not only where I did show her that what I wanted to do with my videos, but also in every single video I've always said and discussed how Bill Deyo did confirm that she had far back distant ancestry confirmed via GEDmatch. I've always said that. I've only discussed my issues with competing statements she made, like she mentioned with her mother, and we'll review that again in 1 minute. Hold on.
I am out here fighting for our communities. I've been reconnecting to our tribe for almost 5 years now, learning about our...
And mind you guys, she didn't get her lineage confirmed until 2023. So that's That's 3 years, not 5.
Tribe in our history, I've never claimed to be connected to us, to our community as a child. You made that shit up.
I didn't make that up. She's literally said that in a bunch of interviews, that she was connected to indigenous community. And you can't be connected to indigenous community unless it's your own community. That's pan-indigenizing things. You know what I'm saying? Knowing Native people doesn't make you a part of the community, and that's where she and I have very different beliefs on. Let's play this last clip. Hold on.
You failed at doing due diligence without coming to me, because that is due diligence. And I had an open door for you. You know that. I told you in our messages to come talk to me.
And I did tell her in our messages exactly what I was going to do. I didn't do anything that I didn't already tell her I was going to do. So I don't know why she's acting as if I didn't tell her I was going to do this when I did twice.
Me if you had any questions. You failed to do that. You are not a
I don't have any questions, but if, she wants to debate me on this shit, she could unblock me, but instead she's a pussy ass bitch. She can't debate me.
journalist. You are not an investigator, because anyone
I never claimed to be a journalist or an investigator.
that did that would have came and talked to me, the source.
I did go and talk to you, the source, and she has been a source. Her statements have been used in every single one of my videos. That is literally citing the source by definition. Like, what? So,
Goodbye. I will not have people that cause harm in my circle.
So she doesn't think she's causing harm with things like the raffle, with having people attacking the Patawomeck tribe, with how she is making statements of misinformation against MMIW, etc. How she is misleading people about her Native identity. She doesn't think any of that's harmful, but she thinks if you talk about it, then you're causing harm. Got it. And she thinks that she's a Native woman, but she didn't find out that she had any distant ancestry until 2023 through GEDmatch. She can't discuss her fucking lineage or prove it. And fucking, you know what I mean? Those are issues that I have with her. It's the way she represents herself. And then she's like, oh, I never said anything about my mother. You made that shit up. Well, in a Facebook post, no, it's down here. Apologies. In this Facebook post, she was talking about how her mom, how she went to ceremony, how she didn't know if what she was told as a child was true or not, and how she had to have a ceremony as a kid. She was bad. None of that's Powhatan. Alright, I don't know what the fuck she was doing, but none of that is Powhatan. Like, I promise you, she was not connected to any Powhatan people. I don't know if other Native communities let her attend their events or some shit, but that doesn't make you Native. That does not give you perspective or experience as a Native woman. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and she's literally saying that she didn't learn until 32 that she had any Native ancestry on her mom's side. Okay, and mind you guys, she also said in an interview that she was going to get enrolled, that she was going to get the enrollment process started, but when she gave that interview, she already was aware of two things. One, we've already shown you the email. Not only did Bill Deyo tell her, her lineage was too far back to get enrolled. She's aware of that. And number two, I said to her in messages, in the text messages, that the enrollment office was closed because of the federal recognition. So she's aware of those two facts, yet she's still telling people that she was about to get the enrollment process started, but she knows she literally cannot get enrolled right now. So, what? And she said that in an interview. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I say she's lying. Yeah. But she basically acts as if I'm criticizing that, then I'm the one causing harm. Like, oh shit, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I'll make sure I am covering everything here. Okay. Oh, yeah, and the Gingerbread Village situation. Let's go back to episode 1 real quick, and let me show you this Gingerbread Village situation.
She's a descendant.
Let's just watch one of these news clip replay thing.
LaRue has the latest from Mapleton.
I'm told Brittany Jones has left the property that was once known as the Old Rural Gingerbread Village, abiding by a court order to vacate the premises by midnight December 28th. Carol Serrell, the owner of the property, accused Jones of squatting in the building, and through the court system, both came to a settlement agreement on December 23rd, having Jones leave the property. Because of the settlement agreement, both sides aren't able to comment on the situation, but Jones has been active on social media talking about the legal battle with the property, and yesterday she reflected on the whole process.
When one door closes, another one opens, and we are already working on our next location so that we can have our full menu available and be able to serve the community the way that we have always planned.
Some local property owners feel for Serralt as they have dealt with similar situations themselves.
What I'm seeing Carol go through right now with Gingerbread Village, she has my wholehearted support. And I think she is right in her pursuit of justice. It's her property, not Brittany's, not anybody else's. It is Carol's.
While it is currently uncertain where Jones will set up her nonprofit Raven's Landing next, she posted on Facebook saying she will be serving fry bread on New Year's Day at Lane County Fairgrounds for the Sweet Treat Market. Reporting in Mapleton, I'm Israel LaRue.
Okay, so yeah. So now moving on. Okay, we're making not as good this time as I wish we were, but better time than I thought maybe we could, because we're a bit over halfway done. We'll see if we can, how much longer this will take us. But now let's okay, yes. Start here with number 6. This video where I first addressed descendianism and what does it mean to be indigenous, and we did a Sandy Boucher video reaction. It was amazing. I love the video. Highly recommend you go check her content out. So I want to look at this statement also, though, that Brittany had made about rising up and taking back what is ours in this video. I found that was quite you know, it was a choice. Yeah, so let's just go watch just one clip.
This time, the rumors are true if you've heard them. I am dropping out of the race. Not because I don't feel like you guys are not worth fighting for, but it's to the point where the collapse of the American government is going to happen. There's no way around it. And I'm going to let the white people tear each other apart. In the meantime, I'm going to be organizing groups and community spaces so that when it does fall, we can rise up and take it for ourselves before anybody else gets to, and we might have to.
What do you mean rise up and take it for ourselves? Who is we? So yeah, I found, you know, obviously I had a lot of thoughts on that. And so she had said, you know, the rise up and take back what ours quote and the white people tear each other apart thing. I found that quite concerning as someone who claims to want to be a leader. You know, I don't know why it's like doing this thing to me. Let me refresh this. But yeah, so I found that to be quite fucking interesting statements coming from her. Those really stood out from me. And yeah, next up, let's see here. Oh, another statement related to her DNA tests. So we're gonna look at 2 of those here, I think, at least. But here's the first one on her DNA. Yeah, the first post we saw about that. Okay, so I'm assuming that this is a post from Brittany Jones that they are reposting. And it says, so I found out, because the beginning of it is cut off, but it says on the overlay, are you sure you're Native, Brittany Jones? And it says, so I found out recently I am mostly Welsh, had no idea. I had always thought I was primarily Irish and Scottish. Wales was largely unaffected by the witch trials, etc. that swept Europe, but I'm not sure one where to start learning about the actual practices of my Welsh ancestry. I can read history all day, but would love a book about Welsh witchcraft if anyone has one they could recommend. I did search the group for Welsh witchcraft, but did not see what I was looking for. Trying to clarify, I'm not looking for history books, more like spell books, ritual books, etc. Is it Celtic magic, etc.? Yeah. Oh, the clip was replaying, but basically it was showing like a map. I got distracted because I started counting how many of these things we've gone over. So I kind of threw a name on here. I'll get to that later. But anyway, yeah. So basically, the first DNA test she ever posted didn't show any indigenous ancestry documented. It was Welsh, Scottish, English, European, Ireland, Swedish, Norway. And that and settlers were the only ancestry ever documented in the first DNA test she ever posted. So that's something. And she has since then made statements saying that she posted the wrong DNA test somehow. So yeah. And then after that, let's look here at a statement where she is speaking in Portland. How does she introduce herself? Let's look at that. Okay. Let's watch her speaking at a Portland City Council meeting.
Hello, my name is Brittany Jones. I am a Democratic candidate for Governor of Oregon, founder of the Ravens Party, and a PLRC for District 50 for the Multnomah County Democrats. I'm mixed indigenous of Patawomeck, Mexican, and Welsh descent,
And mind you guys, she cannot say Patawomeck right, it's Patawomeck. That's itself evident she's not connected to the tribe, because she was actually speaking to any Patawomeck tribal member. She would know how to say the tribe's name correctly, in my opinion. But putting that out there. And in terms of her Mexican ancestry, yo no sé cómo ella no quiere hacer comida mexicana o miera para la representación para sus ancestros mexicanos. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But tengo hambre. I have shrimp and grits, man. I might reheat some shrimp and grits. if I end up going on a break, I got too hungry and couldn't wait.
I'm here to talk to
So that's where a lot of people have problems with her using the Patawomeck identity in this official capacity this way. And another thing, in the European, okay, so then I keep going into that as well. So yeah. And now next up, let's look at another video she posted here, where she does acknowledge that she's previously been racist. Let's look at that.
Cooper, being in the military skewed my views quite a bit. I actually used to be racist towards Muslims and people from the Middle East because of my military training.
Sorry about that if there was any volume discrepancy. Some of the videos are so low, and then some of them play so loud. I try to adjust the volume as we go, and now I'm burping. So yeah, apologies. So sorry about that if that hurt your ears at all. I tried to adjust it instantly. So now the next one might be too low. We'll see. But now then we have another post here made about her DNA test as well. So let's go to that. It starts in 2 more seconds technically, but yeah.
DNA results.
A more comprehensive post will be put on my Facebook, but I have to access my laptop to do that, and currently I have a sleepover with about 6 kids happening for my son's birthday. So this is what we have tonight. As you can see, this is one of my tests that I've done. Amerindian up there, that's highlighted in yellow, is for Indigenous heritage. Now you can see there's percentages there. If I was not Indigenous to America, they would not be there. Now we're going to go over to the other aspects, and this is not counting South American Indigenous heritage either, which is on my laptop, not on my phone. Here you can see there's Pima. Now what I did is I actually highlighted the ones I'm familiar with. There's still a lot that I have to learn. I am a mix of many, but not enough of any. and I did find my family in the Patawomeck Nation, and once enrollment is open there, I will be applying to enroll in my nation. Here's more highlighted. Once again, Ojibwe.
Okay, she said it there right for once.
What that is. There's other percentages in there that I have to do some more research on.
But if you notice, like, all of the numbers and all of these things that it looks like she could be claiming does not make sense at all, in my opinion, for what's documented her family tree at all.
This one you can see a lot of the southern indigenous heritage. There's the Mayan, the Mexican, the...
Okay, yeah, this is ridiculous. She's claiming she's 91% Mayan. So yeah, and then also I had shown next up. So in this live stream, for the next live stream that we're gonna do, the Brittany Jones Lies About Native Connection. This is where the full reading of all of the messages, as well as the full replay of these voice messages that we had gone over are here in this video here. I was going to originally play my response, and I was gonna play the whole thing, but I don't want to be here all day. Why am I clicking through so much? I don't want to be here all day, but yeah, honestly, okay, so I forgot to play my response earlier. So in this video, I just tell you guys basically what the fuck happened, and that was like literally right when it happened, and I was really pissed off about it. So this is just like angry me bitching to you guys. And the video after that, called Will Brittany Jones Take Accountability, and who is a real Native, in that video, is one where I address some of the social issues behind what I said, because not everything I said did come from a place of anger. I have truth in what I said, but also in certain ways what I said wasn't necessarily in bio-alignment with how I feel on face value. It is reliant on the context of all of these facts put together for why I said what I said. And so I explained that more in the 9th video. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fuck it. You know what? No, it's kind of long though. But basically, yeah, fuck it. I'll go ahead and play it. Here's what the fuck I said back to her. I watched your Ken Bodie interview. I read the Voices for Voices article about you. And I also watched the interview you did on transplaning, which has evidence of everything I've already discussed related to your claims, on top of your social media posts yourself, okay? Now, on social media, you've also claimed Blackfoot before, but there's no Blackfoot documentation in your genealogy, and I can post proof of that as well. And when it comes to everything that you're saying does not make you a Native woman. You're not indigenous, okay? You do not have an indigenous lived perspective. Having indigenous ancestry doesn't just mean now I'm an indigenous woman. That is the problem. You getting on live television, on live podcasts to represent yourself as an indigenous woman when you have no indigenous lived perspective, trying to speak for indigenous people when you are a white woman. You are mostly white. Every single ancestor you have documented is a colonizer. You only have European ancestors documented. You have no Native ancestors documented. It's on Family Search. It's literally public record. No public record of your ancestry exists. And you just said you're not going to, or you're only share that privately with Bill, but you're refusing to share that publicly. And Bill's only confirmed that you shared a GED match analysis, not genealogical records. So that's where the confusion is there. There's been no confirmation other than GED-match DNA. That's not the same as having your ancestry confirmed and knowing who your ancestors are. That's not the same as your ancestors being public record, because if you were Patawomeck, your ancestors would be documented. And my dad, he's always known our ancestry. He's always known exactly who his ancestors were and that he was Powhatan. He was never lost that connection. My dad presents as an indigenous man. He doesn't have to go to a Native community to feel a sense of proximity to being indigenous because he is indigenous. Your mother being a white woman studying Native people doesn't make her indigenous. That's why we have people like Helen Roundtree trying to act like Patawomecks don't exist. And you can't even say the Patawomeck name right. You keep mispronouncing it. You don't even know how to say Patawomeck. Like it's Patawomeck. You do not know how to pronounce the tribe name right. And you have literally had people attacking William Deyo. You have literally had people attacking the tribe, saying the tribe doesn't exist. You're literally attacking and causing harm to the tribe. Since our federal recognition has been up, all you have done is try to exploit tribal identity for your own political campaigns, and you have done nothing to fight for the federal recognition of the tribe. You've done nothing to go reconnect with the community members. You've never even fucking been to Virginia. And you are allowing the tribe to be misrepresented. You are allowing people to say the tribe's name wrong, to spell the tribe's name wrong on public record in the media because you don't even know how to fucking represent being indigenous. You are calling yourself an indigenous woman and you're allowing people to interview you about the indigenous perspective, and then you're giving them answers. You're telling them Haudenosaunee 7th-generation principles. That's not Powhatan. You're saying jingle dress dancing makes you Powhatan. That's Anishinaabe. You're saying fry bread makes you Powhatan indigenous culture connected. That's Navajo. You can't say you were raised with indigenous culture if you were not connected to your own. Being around other indigenous people does not make you indigenous. Just finding out who your ancestors was a few years ago does not make you indigenous. That is the problem. There is a difference between finding out you're a descendant and going on that journey to reconnect with indigenous community versus just saying you're part of the community you have not done the work to be a part of. Okay? Whew! Sakir Rinkan? Ada Moiskwa, Sakir Rinkan? Kekitawomeck. Do you know it? No? Winkan Lupis, Ana. You take no accountability for the harm you cause. What about the fucking truck you took people's money for to raffle off and you never even gave away that SUV? You're the one causing harm. You're the one speaking over Native people. When Native people call you out, you sit there and you don't fucking listen to them. And then you're trying to represent Native identity? Are you fucking kidding me? Me calling you out for your cultural appropriation, cultural exploitation is not causing harm to Natives. But you being a reason that people invalidate the tribe is. And the fact that you don't see that you being a reason people harass Bill Deyo is causing harm to others. And the fact you take no fucking accountability for that shit really pisses me off. And I never claimed to be an investigator. I never claimed to be a journalist. I do fucking marketing. I'm speaking from my lived experience because my fucking dad has always been fucking Native. I don't have to go 10 fucking generations back. I don't have to do a GEDmatch test to find out I'm Native. I was born being fucking Native, unlike you, bitch. Okay? I understand you don't know what it fucking means to be Native. That's why you have to go quote from Haudenosaunee instead of Powhatan principles when people ask you, what the fuck does it mean to build a life for the goddamn future? But, that's the difference fucking between us. One of us cares to reconnect to Powhatans, the other one cares to exploit indigenous identity for your own political fucking gain. Fuck you, bitch. And you know what? I literally quoted you. I used your Facebook post. You were the source for a lot of my everything. Your input has been in here every step of the way. So you being mad because your words are in my videos and then saying, oh, I didn't use you as a source. I did use you as a source. Whew. Why would I talk to you about why the fuck you're lying about this truck raffle? Why the fuck are you lying about indigenous identity? What the fuck is wrong with you? You literally act like you're not European. You're mostly European. Just acknowledge it. Be okay with it. You're a fucking white woman. It's okay to be white. You're a white woman. You're not connected to indigenous people. That's okay. I was over there like, why the fuck you lying? Anyway, so then I sent, some pictures of my dad. Hey, Dad. And, oh, no, she sent me that. Oopsie, wrong way. She sent pictures of my dad for, I ain't gotta go back that far to figure out who the fuck my Native ancestors are, because it's my dad. So anyway, and then I also said that just me, raised by an indigenous parent who knows his I can't see that. Just me, who's raised by an indigenous parent who knows his lineage and passed on his ways, something you will never understand as a Patawomeck woman. You literally have to go back 10 generations to find a Native ancestor, and were raised being a white woman, which there was nothing wrong with, but it's so weird you lied on the news and on podcasts and now want to deny that in your in your voice messages, just like you denied filing a false stalking order when you were squatting. Blocking people because you don't take accountability for your lies and the harm you caused to Patawomecks is proof you would not be a good governor. If the tribe you claim can't hold you accountable, how can your fellow colonizers hold you accountable? Not acknowledging how your misrepresentation of Patawomeck pronunciation as indigenous erasure is a form of racism on your part, as is not acknowledging how you calling yourself an indigenous woman when you have no indigenous lived experience is a lie on your part, and you not making it clear on the news have distant ancestry and no cultural community or worldview of an indigenous woman matters when it comes to representing indigenous issues. You causing people to attack Bill Deyo and the tribe because you lied about taking funds to give away a car and never did is harm. Me calling you out for these things isn't harm unless you see accountability as an attack, which shows white cultural assimilation and white fragility mindset on your part. That's what the fuck I sent her. And mind you guys, there's nothing wrong with, you know, and I've said this before and I've said it again, I'll keep saying it, there's nothing wrong with just finding out that you have far distant Native ancestry and going on that journey to learn more respectfully. I support that. It's just finding out and then trying to take space as if you're a Native woman in news outlets, and you're taking funds from actual Native people as a Native woman because she ran her whole presidential campaign on this identity and everything like that. It's harmful. And when you're doing this under the tribe's identity and you took funds and you didn't give away the car, you took the funds to give away, that makes us look bad. Like everything, it's just and so that's where it's like you can't represent Native people without respecting Native community and Native community input, which I don't believe Brittany Jones respects, because Native community has been calling her out. How long has Star Mukwa been calling her out? Yes, I criticize Star Mukwa, but let's look at that. Like, Star called her out for what, 5 years now? So anyway, now let's move on here to are we on our 8th video? Yeah. Okay. So let's look at some clips where I'm going to show you guys where she was definitely claiming in the news that she was Native. So we're just looking for the proof that she did claim she was Native at this point. So these will be shorter clips. Here we go. So this article calls her a member of the Native American community. Can you confirm that your descendant is not the same? And I'm just gonna let this part of this play, and then let's see if I can search the transcript yet. Oh, I can. Okay, great. So, okay, so yeah. So that was that first part there. Where it's written in these articles that she's a member of the Native American community. A lot of these people, news outlets, media outlets, podcasts, what have you, doing these posts on her are not only, you know, she's not only making these statements, then they're also publishing these statements in written form as well. So then let's go to 14606 here, and I'm going to show you another statement made here. Right there.
Unseating a powerful incumbent is one of the hardest things to do in politics.
So sorry, I'm going to replay that because the volume was so low. Let's see if it'll replay for me.
Unseating a powerful incumbent is one of the hardest things to do in politics. However, my next guest is trying to do just that. Army Reserve veteran and progressive activist Brittany Jones is challenging Governor Tina Kotek in May's Democratic primary. A member of the LGBTQ and Native American communities.
And mind you guys, I just want to ramble about this, but getting your ancestry confirmed is not the same as necessarily being a part of the community. So yeah, that's how he introduced her. And in that video, she does not correct him in that entire interview, and I've already covered that. I didn't timestamp that in advance to properly go through and show you that again, but y'all can go watch it for yourself and see, like, she didn't correct them. They're introducing her as a Native woman, and she doesn't correct it. Okay.
I think it's an attack on all of us. As somebody who is mixed indigenous of Patawomecks descent, a lot of the people.
Okay. So again, she's now claiming she's mixed indigenous of Patawomeck descent, but she can't say Patawomecks, right? And she was acting as if she didn't go do any of this, right? In the voice messages to me. Hold on. Now let's look at another statement.
In terms of land stewardship, you talked about your Native American background. We've got less than a minute left, but just talk about how you feel about...
Y'all didn't really talk about her Native American background. You notice that she can't elaborate on any Native American background because she doesn't have a background to elaborate on. She does keep saying, I'm Native, I'm Native, I'm Native. I'm putting that out there.
Stewarding the land and also controlling the land.
So
we don't believe in owning the land. So she keeps going on to answer that question, you know what I mean? Like, she then answers as if she has a Native experience and she doesn't correct them. Like, we're gonna watch this answer. When it comes to controlling it, whew, and in terms of stewarding it, we don't believe in desecrating it. It's a sacred fucking place. We believe in taking care of it, and it takes care of us. Jesus Christ.
Control is a negative word for it, because First Nations, we lived with the land. We worked with the land.
First Nations is a Canadian concept. It refers specifically. So First Nations isn't just typically a broad Indigenous concept. It typically refers to specifically First Nations in Canada or Australia, specific communities who have rights under the First Nation status. But here though, you notice she doesn't correct them on, hey, I'm not someone who has who can speak as an Indigenous woman. You know, she lets him represent her as someone who has this Native lived experience. She's not connected to Native community. She literally got her lineage verified 2023, never even been to Virginia, doesn't know the tribe like that. She's only on good terms, to my knowledge, with the tribal historian. That's a single individual. And I've said this in deaf community, and I'll try to hold that for the end. So conclusion, hold on, let me write. Okay, I'm going to save this deaf community example for the end. I wrote that down and discuss why I've been counting the title and stuff like that. Okay, apologies. We'll save that for the end. Let's keep going. But mind you guys, she speaks as if she is an authority on this, but she's speaking on things she's not educated on, that she has no lived experience on, and she's misrepresenting herself as someone who does have lived experience on these issues, but she does not. That's what I see as a blatant lie, and where she and I disagree. And she was, in my opinion, sending me those voice messages as if she didn't do all this, but I can prove she did it. It had really pissed me off. Okay, so now moving on. Another statement related to all of this here. We've got the blog post. So in a blog post, it was saying that her childhood was enriched by both her Indigenous heritage and Mexican culture. So here we've got people so where she's saying I made this up, I didn't make this up. It's literally being reported on in media outlets. They're saying that. I didn't make it up. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm like, holy shit, bitch, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm going to count all of these little replays as one moment when I do my count, which I'll talk about in the conclusion. But yeah, fucking, so, right, like this got me fucked up because having already seen statements like this where it's like her childhood enriched by her Indigenous heritage, but I know for a fact she didn't find out until 2021 that, and then that about 3 judge match, but she didn't get it confirmed until 2023 is like wild. I know for a fact she was in her mid-30s and it's far distant ancestry. That's what I perceive as a lie. That's where I say she's lying about her Native ancestry, because how is this still published and you're not having them correct it? You know what I mean? Like, if that was made about me, I would issue original correction. Like, oh my god. So anyway, I just burped. Apologies. Okay, so moving on to, let's do another statement here that she made. One more related to her identity.
So I'll use a mistake I made before, and then I'll go into other, because this is a community that I'm a part of.
Calling you out.
Yeah, this is a community that I'm a part of, and then I'll move into communities that I'm not a part of. So
Okay.
it's kind of a two-part answer. So being Native and being a reconnecting Native, I was involved as a child learning jingle dress dance and ceremony in the home, went to gatherings.
Just spiraling and oh god damn it, I just realized I've been muted. Shit, I don't know how long I've been muted for. So that's really unfortunate for me. But basically I was showing you guys that I was replaying the clip where Brittany Jones had made statements about being a mixed Native childhood, having a mixed Native childhood, and I don't believe she had one. How I felt that was extremely problematic, and how there's no reason to conflate your Indigenous experience. If I was muted, I'm sorry. I don't know if I got that mute button right or wrong there. Sorry if I fucked that up. That sucks. But anyway, let's just keep moving on. Now we are on to Brittany's comments on missing and murdered Indigenous women related to human trafficking. And yeah, so let's play that.
Human trafficking outside of like the MMIW awareness has kind of been pushed under the rug. But I did meet with a prison abolition.
I'm gonna replay that one more time because my captioner didn't get it and it was real quick.
Human trafficking outside of like the MMIW awareness has kind of been pushed under the rug. But I did meet with a prison abolition.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know if you got that right, but so that just replayed that twice. And mind you guys, the point of the missing and murdered Indigenous movement is to raise awareness and demand justice and end the disproportionate violence against Indigenous women. And it highlights systemic failures related to advocating for Indigenous people, and how we have higher rates of not being heard. So where she's saying that outside of MMIW, that human trafficking doesn't have awareness, when the whole point of MMIW is that Indigenous women don't have as much awareness related to human trafficking and things like that, is literally what she's saying is it contradicts the point of the entire movement. It's racism. It's pushing racism. It's misinformation. It's Indigenous erasure. It's harm. She's not qualified, does not have lived experience to speak on these issues, and that is why it's harmful and problematic. You know what I'm saying? So I really, yeah, like that was just like, holy fuck, I can't believe you fucking said that in the news while you're claiming that you can speak as an Indigenous woman. Holy fuck. And then telling me in voice message that you didn't say or do any of that, and you know that I'm just making it up. Like, holy fuck. All of that just, you know, really was just wild to me. And meanwhile, this is a bitch who ain't got no Native ancestors documented. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I did fail because I did go over time, but that is the replay recap that I got for you. I'm gonna try to attempt to edit that down later if I can. This did go on much longer than I thought it would, but hopefully this does give me something to condense down into a shorter video that I can make at least 30 minutes to an hour tops. Hopefully, I'll try it. I don't know. But, yeah. So also, related to when I speak on Brittany Jones not necessarily being part of Native community, like I've said this about deaf community. A deaf individual is not deaf community. There are many deaf individuals who are assimilated into the hearing world. They have no connection, community, or lived experience or knowledge in connection with other deaf people. These are usually people who are not born into deaf families like mine. They are people who are just completely, you know, they're the only deaf person in their family, and they don't have a choice but to assimilate. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a fact. Not every deaf person has deaf community. It's a fucking fact. Most deaf people don't. And so being deaf doesn't make you a part of deaf community. You have to go seek out other deaf people. Do the work to learn deaf social issues and to, in many cases, learn sign language. A lot of deaf people don't know sign language, so you don't always have to go learn sign language to connect with deaf people when you're deaf, because a lot of us, especially as hard of hearing people, we don't know sign from oralism, right? But or we weren't raised signing. I know sign now, but I wasn't raised with it. But you know what I mean? Like, so things like that, it takes work to get there. Being deaf doesn't, you're a deaf individual, but doesn't make you part of a deaf community. The same with being Native. You're not just part of Native community just because you have far distant ancestry. And I don't think that's what Brittany Jones is understanding correctly here. So whenever I'm sitting there screaming at her, oh, you're not Native and shit, it's not about discrediting Bill Deyo. Bill Deyo says she's Native, that she's a descendant. It's not my place to discredit him or question him. You know what I'm saying? It would be extremely fucking disrespectful on my part. It's about the statement she makes and calling her out on the facts of what her lineage is versus the statements she makes online. And it's about her needing to recognize the discrepancy between her lived experience and the life she's had versus what a Native experience is, in my opinion. And on that note, I had just kind of like didn't know what the fuck to call this stream. So what did I call it? I called it like shit. What did I call this? I said it was like Oregon governor candidate lies about Native identity. What next? That's what I had put for this this stream. But I want to change that, I think, to worst. I think I want to say like worst, and I want to count the timestamps I end up doing on this Brittany Jones moments. And I think I'm at like 20 something. Let me see. That was 22. Hold up. Oh, I didn't count this. Yeah, I'm at like 20. I think I'm at like 23 or about 20 or so worst moments. So let's say it's like 20 to 25. So I'm gonna count however many this ends up being. It's gonna be like the top, like the worst 20 to 25 Brittany Jones moments, you know. And that's what I'm gonna change this title to, because that's what I feel like this portion ended up becoming. It's just like me, like the worst moments that stood out to me, you know, from everything here. And why I feel that you guys should go watch the rest of the coverage I've done on that, is because even though it's a lot, yes, it will take you time to get through everything, but if you're at all considering her as a candidate, or on the off chance she does get elected, I think it is important for people to be extremely aware of who their officials that they are electing, what their history is, you know. And so anyone that is voting, particularly in Oregon at this time, or under any jurisdiction for any campaign in which she may run in the future, because we know she did run for president before, I think everybody just needs to reflect on these moments and determine for yourself whether or not that is someone who you trust to represent you in an official capacity. And I do think, you know, just looking and reflecting on some of these things, that could be evidence as to why, you know, I feel certain ways when I make certain statements. So, I know, you know, you've seen all of this shit before, so apologies, but hopefully you understand why I'm reposting it all and replaying it all and kind of going through this memory lane with you, because she is somebody running for political office, and I do feel that under this political landscape especially, it's extremely important to have transparency and accountability with our political representatives, and I do believe that she needs to take accountability for the criticisms that society has of her. And it's one thing to be a business owner and in a situation where it's like, okay, well, if people don't like me, they ain't gotta buy from me, fuck them, right? Versus when you're someone who is trying to represent the interests of the people, you can't claim you represent the interests of the people if you're not willing to listen to the people. You know? And yeah. So that, and so yeah, and so besides that, I'm gonna take all of this and condense it down and edit out a lot of the filler shit that's not important, such as me going to find these clips and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to turn this segment into some sort of more concise clip, closer to 30 minutes if possible, or less. I don't know if it'll be less, but you know, or maybe multiple if I can't get it less. But try to make some sort of shorter content with this video segment that I've done here. So it will be things that you've already seen if you've watched it all, because the fact of the matter is, the content I've made is so many hours, not everybody's gonna be able to, even if they want to. And a lot of people don't fucking want to watch all of that. So I do want to try and put this information in some sort of way that people may be able to have the chance to receive. So if you do see me reposting some of these things again, that is why. I hope you understand, and I hope it's not too bothering for you. But yeah, so just a recap, replay. Today we started off with the Tajuana coverage. We basically found out that her court date is July 6th. So I'm hoping that around July 6th we get more information. What we found out was that apparently a stalking charge, misdemeanor, may be added to the charges filed against her, according to the interpretation of reports that we read. And then we also found that she is still in jail at this time. She's got a $20,000 bond, and that it was related to her wiping data from her phone, and that it was related to what I thought it was, the Shiloh Eagle situation. And it was related to the family that I believe she's harassing, or she's claiming she's Lakota, but they're not her relatives. And it was proven through, even the police believe she's lying about that, you know? So, yeah, right? Like, hello. And so we looked at that, and then we did our replay on the Brittany Jones situation. We've done a replay review and highlights, a little extra commentary, but not much extra commentary, and a slight review of the family search and everything of the Brittany Jones situation, just kind of looking at some of the worst moments from Brittany Jones, from her filing the protective order, false stalking order against somebody, and then acting like she didn't do that, to her taking interview opportunities as a Native woman, to her taking funds as a Native person, to her saying she was going to raffle off a truck but she never gave it away, to her telling me she never did these things, and then her acting like I didn't come to her about these videos when I absolutely did, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, if you want the full details, because mind you guys, I was trying to make this short, so I didn't show you guys everything. Like, please go watch my videos for the full details, because it was not possible for me to give you it all here if I'm trying to make this shorter. But yeah, so I think I covered everything as concisely. This is as close as I'm going to get to a concise recap. It's the best I can do, I think. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. I'm going to timestamp the fuck out of this when I can, but it may not be tonight because I need to go do some shit. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me. I hope everybody has a great night. Yeah, I will see you guys when I can see you guys. I'm gonna go eat my shrimp and grits. I hope you enjoy your dinner too. Bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at nolachild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.